The
Yaffee program on WVNN.
Well, Trump would never say this, but I'll say it. And you already know this. Most of us already know this. We are in two Cold Wars right now. Two Cold Wars as a country. One, we have the Cold Civil War that's going on between the left and the right in this culture. Cold Civil War. It's not a hot war because that would be mutually assured destruction. I say that as, so we were in the Cold War with the Soviet Union, but we never went to a hot war because of nuclear weapons, mutually assured destruction. We're in a Cold War in this country, but it would never go to a hot war because it would be mutually assured destruction. Nobody wins that. So put that aside, though. We are also in a Cold War with China. And it's kind of the same thing. Now, one thing, whether you agree with the war in Iran or not, one thing this really has exposed is we are apparently not as ready for a war with China, if it came to that, maybe to fight over Taiwan, as we should be. Or maybe we're better than we thought. I'll explain that in a moment. There are a couple different reasons why I'm going down that road, but we'll also talk about Trump and his visit to China. He'll never say there that we're in a Cold War with China, but we are. You are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute, here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Let me give you the latest on Trump's trip. I'm going to read some of this from the Wall Street Journal. It says President Trump arrived in China with a contingent of high-profile business leaders, including tech billionaires Elon Musk and Jensen Huang, for a summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, over the coming 2 days, the leaders are expected to discuss issues related to the war in Iran and trade. Now, looming over the meeting of the two superpowers is the U.S. blockade of Iranian shipments of oil bound for China. Now, Trump is seeking Beijing's help to end the Middle East conflict. Hours before Trump departed for China, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told lawmakers on Capitol Hill that China has a lot of leverage over Iran. So if you're wondering why we are still in Project Pause, despite Trump ripping up a potential deal with Iran, we had Project Freedom to open up the strait, and then it ended. So I've called it Project Pause. We have not started really bombing them again. This is why. Trump's visit to China is why that we're still in this state. Because Trump, I don't think, wants to bomb them, wants to really hit Iran hard while he's over there, because he's hoping to get a deal where China puts leverage on Iran. Now, that is already happening to a certain extent. It's pretty obvious that Pakistan, is kind of the mediator here, but Pakistan is basically doing what China wants in that regard. Now, Trump was asked about his trip to China before he left. Go ahead, Walker, if you can, play a Trump cut one for me.
President, what is the ultimate goal of your trip to China?
I think more than anything else is we have massive relationships with China. We're the two superpowers. We're the strongest nation on earth in terms of military. China's considered second. Who knows? Who knows? But we are. There's nobody even to come close. And you see that whether it's Venezuela or whether it's Iran. Iran's military is decimated. I have a great relationship with President Xi, and I think it's going to remain that way. We have a lot of things to discuss. I wouldn't say Iran is one of them, to be honest with you, because we have Iran very much under control. We're either going to make a deal or they're going to be decimated. So one way or the other, we win.
What about
but we're going to be talking with President Xi about a lot of different things. I would say more than anything else will be trade.
All right, so he's even saying Iran's not going to be the biggest topic. He wants to talk trade because Trump always wants to talk about trade. That's what Trump wants to do. But they'll talk about AI. That's going to come up, technology, maybe Taiwan, all of that stuff. So what do you think? Is something going to come out of this? Now, when it comes to Iran, before Trump left as well, yesterday Trump did talk about the latest in Iran, the latest on the potential to make a deal. Go ahead and play Trump cut 2 for me.
Their military's gone. It's wiped out. And we're only going to make a good deal. We'll see. what happens. But I believe that one way or the other, it's going to be very good for the American people, and I think actually very good for the Iranian people. You're going to have so much oil, you're going to have a gusher of oil like you've never had before. So when oil goes up a little bit, I thought it would go up much more. If you go back 3-4 months ago, when we were contemplating, we assumed oil would go much higher.
All right. Now, he has been saying that from the beginning. I mean, I guess I'll take him at his word. I have no idea if that's true. Now, Tuberville, I had mentioned in the last hour, but I'll play it here. Tuberville was also he's our U.S. Senator. He was on Newsmax. While he was on Newsmax, he was asked about Trump's trip to China and what he thinks is going to possibly happen. Play a Tuberville cut 2 for me.
President Trump's got a game plan. He's been working on it. He understands the significance of the control that China has over a lot of our supply chain, our farming materials, a lot of commodities. As you said, they're right now reeling from not being able to take that Iranian oil, Venezuelan oil, a lot of things that they'll talk about. The one thing I hope President Trump gets over to President Xi is we don't need wars. We need to start getting along, but everybody needs to pay their share. We do not need this so-called free trade. We need fair trade. We need to be able to work with the Chinese and get things done. They do a lot of things that we don't have opportunities to do, and vice versa. So let's work together, and hopefully, I know President Trump's friends with President Xi, and I think they'll have great conversation. But again, I just don't know who's running the country from behind the scenes in China, because he's had a tough time, Ed, with his military. Yeah. All of his officers, are they still on his side?
Now, there is some thinking that China is much weaker than what people realize, mostly because of what Tuberville said. There's some struggles within the government in the country, but economically, they never really recovered from COVID like we did. And economically speaking, their population is really dwindling. And that's going to have an effect as well. But that can also be a problem, because sometimes when a country gets in dire straits economically and they're an authoritarian country like China, they end up going to war. I mean, that's how they think they can fix things, is expand and go to war and everything else. So does China want to do that? Take Taiwan, for instance. That's the problem. But I mentioned at the top of this hour, I said, oh, look, you can look at it 2 ways with our Cold War with China and what we're learning when it comes to the war in Iran. So you might remember when we did Operation Midnight Hammer, when we did the amazing operation in Venezuela, and then we had pretty good military operations at the beginning of the Iran war. I had said, look, this is not just because Trump was very open about it. We were really showing off. Trump is not just showing off for the American people or to our enemies. He was showing off for China and Russia. He was trying to send a message that, militarily speaking, even China can't touch us. And that has been true, especially in Iran, because, Iranian missiles and Venezuela, where were they getting their missiles? Where are they getting their technology? They're getting a lot of it from China. They get it from Russia as well. And Iran's defensive capabilities, when it came to some of that stuff, was nothing. I mean, barely even touching the United States military. We just completely dominated in that regard. Militarily speaking, it seems like you look at those operations, we are just way ahead of China, more than we even thought. Russia as well. That's the good news. Now, what's the bad news? I told you there's good and bad news here. 2 different ways to look at it when you're talking about our Cold War with China. The bad news is I keep hearing this problem that we have used up a lot of our munitions, our sophisticated munitions, in a very short period of time. So we are basically in military operations against Iran for a month. And now part of this is Democrat hyperbole because they want to blame Trump for something. But there are some concerns among Republicans that we've used up too much and it takes way too long right now to replenish. Because these are sophisticated missiles, for instance, and it takes a while to build all that and get it over there. If that is a problem in a war with Iran. That must be a huge problem if we ever go to war with China. I had played a cut earlier this week of Mark Kelly complaining about this, saying, well, if we were in an extended conflict with China, we couldn't keep up, and that's because of Iran. And I'm thinking, it sounds like it was a bigger problem than Iran. It sounds like this was a problem before we went to war with Iran. So that is concerning to me. So we have this amazing military technology, the most sophisticated, strong, dangerous military in the world. But you're all telling me that that can only last for maybe a couple of months and then we're out? That means our enemies, they're going to expose that weakness, whether it's China or Iran or the terrorists, and they're just going to try to wait us out. If it's that difficult to replenish our munitions, all they have to do is wait us out, and then we don't have as much, and then we'll have to leave. That's a concern for our war in Iran, yes, but it's also a major concern if we ever had to go to war with China. That's got to be fixed ASAP. I had talked about before as well how our military, or our Navy, we have like half the Navy ships we had 20, 30 years ago. Oh, but our ships are much more sophisticated now, Yaffee. I understand that, but numbers mean something, and we need to get more. We need to have ships that are more sophisticated, and we just need more of them, period. We need both. So I know I'm not a military expert, not a retired general, anything like that. I just kind of look at the world through common sense, try to look at the big picture. But if everyone's so concerned that we're running out of munitions only after a month with Iran, we should have been concerned before, and we need to fix this problem. And that's one reason why Trump wants to up the military budget, but it's beyond money. It's an infrastructure thing as well. I want to get your take on this. We do have the Yaffee text line, of course. 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. Appreciate you listening to the show as always. By the way, you're going to appreciate my good friends at Regenesis Stem Cell Center, especially if you deal with any kind of injury. Maybe you were an athlete for years, and I know sometimes you have athletes and they get later in life, and because of injuries they had, maybe you had an injury in your knee or something. You were playing football and it's injured, and you deal with that to this day, and you want pain relief, but surgery is just not really an option for you. It's kind of risky. Well, then contact my friends at Regenesis Stem Cell Center. Go to the website, regenesisstemcell.com. It's not some kind of deep invasive surgery. There's pretty much no downtime. You're back to work the next day, and it's using your own body's adult stem cells, and you get real relief. Talk with Dr. Charles Lee, regenesisstemcell.com. Make an appointment. It could change your life for the better. Regenesisstemcell.com. Let them know Yaffee was the one who sent you. All right, coming up next, lighten things up a little bit. I have something that made Yaffee laughy back here in just a sec.
The Yaffee Program.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Listen, it is not too late to stop this. Do not do this. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's damn near perfect. It's beautiful as it is. Stop trying to fix what ain't broke. And stop telling me that the tournament isn't the tournament unless the 15th place team in the SEC gets in. Stop jerking with the best event in all of sports, you pigs.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Jim Rome takes on sports.
Listen, it is not too late to stop this. Do not do this. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's damn near perfect. It's beautiful as it is. Stop trying to fix what ain't broke. And stop telling me that the tournament isn't the tournament unless the 15th place team in the SEC gets in. Stop jerking with the best event in all of sports, you pigs.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.